Okay guys, this is Rapture Cafe again, and earlier I had made some rice, and what I'm fixing to make now is the purpose for it. Today I just purchased this Aroma rice cooker. It's very much new to me as well. This one here consists of white rice, brown rice, steam, saute then simmer, slow cook, quick rice, delay timer, and I can turn around and go up and down as long as I want to cook. My menu, warm and power button. And we're going to test this out and see how it does. Like I said, I've never used it, so we're going to try and work on this together. First, I'm going to show you the saute then simmer. A lot of you have heard the STS button, but we're unfamiliar what it's about. This is what it's about. This is where we fry our hamburger, bacon, eggs, and I'm going to show you exactly how this is done. So I'm going to set my pot to the saute then simmer, and on this one here is my power button. I'll let it go through its cycle. Then I'm going to hit my menu button till I hit the saute then simmer. Oops. Told you I'm new to this too, so I'm waiting to see exactly how I do this. I don't see a start button on it like I did my other one. Oh, okay. Well, it just does it on its own. That's cool. I can handle that. Now what I'm going to be doing is frying up some turkey sausage, turkey smoked sausage, because tonight we are making homemade from scratch gumbo, seafood gumbo. So I'm going to add a little bit of my butter. Now I use real butter. I know everybody else has different cooking preferences. You can use margarine, you could do whatever. These videos, this is basically how I cook. I can give you alternatives to other things. Like for us, a lot of people, we use an al-dul sausage, which is very tasty, but we're changing some of the foods up in our diets every day, so we're turning this, for us, the al-dul is going to be the turkey smoked sausage. Once this gets heated up, I'll let you, hopefully you'll be able to hear the sizzling of how hot, or basically how you can fry in it. So right now we're going to close this up and let it get nice and hot. Okay, so we've got our butter melted, our pan's been heated. Let's go ahead and fry up some sausage. This here is perfect enough for frying up hamburgers, sausages, bacon, eggs. Believe me, it works very well. So far I'm liking this pot. It's smaller than my one I made my rice in that I showed you, which means I can portion foods a lot better than what I could in my other one. Okay, we're going to fry this up a little bit and we shall be right back. Okay, so now our sausage has been cooking up a little bit. We're not going to do it completely, just enough to brown a little bit and get it heated up. This is going to be simmering in my pot of gumbo. So now the next point is, again, I know I'm fixing to make a roux for this gumbo. Now, for a lot of people, you may think that a roux is really unnecessary to learn how to cook, but honestly, there's quite a few dishes that consist of making a roux. Number one, your country gravies. Just like my mac and cheese video that I showed you. This gumbo, all roux is a thickening agent. It's very simple to make. It's really not that hard, but it is a vital thing that we all need to learn. So I'm going to go ahead and make that again tonight because I need a thickening agent for my gumbo.
They got a little yellow look in there. The way the video looked.
Alright, so just like last night, we're gonna use 1 stick of butter. Again, I'm using real butter because this is what I prefer. I try to stay away from as much processed as possible. We're gonna go ahead and let my butter melt down. And then after this, I'm gonna be using 1/4 cup of flour again. And I'm gonna be making my thickening agent for it. Only this time, this roux is going to cook down a little more so that it'll turn brown. But now with a roux, it has to constantly be stirred. If not, it will burn and it will get to a point where you can't really stir it anymore. It'll cake up. When you add your liquids, it does tend to cake up, but just when you do a little at a time and mix it up. Like I said, this will probably be the last time I show this as far as roux wise, but I thought it is an interesting fact for many people who like their biscuits and gravy in the morning. That's the basic thing. It's just a basic starter for a thickening agent for gravy or thickening up dishes like gumbo. I've got my butter almost melted down here. And we'll be back as soon as it's finished. Okay guys, so again we're on saute then simmer. We got our butter nice and heated up, and now we're going to incorporate our flour. And this here is 1/4 cup of flour to 1 stick of butter. And all I'm going to do right here is just constantly stir this till it comes almost a nice brown color. And once I get it to that setting, I will come back to you and let you see that part. Okay, so now we're starting to get a brown roux. I don't know if you can see this or not, but it's getting a dark brown. This here on the rice cooker, it took about 5 minutes. This actually cooks rather quickly, so I don't want it to go any further than that. I am now going to add my vegetables. And the vegetables that I have chopped celery, some chopped onion, and chopped bell peppers. We're going to stir all this in here like this. I'm going to add a bay leaf. Get a nice bay leaf here. Now, bay leaves you don't eat. It's just basically for the seasoning part of it. You remove it after you're through cooking with it. It's good for stews, for soups, even gumbo. We're going to add a little bit of Dawn seasoning, but you can add cayenne pepper. You can add some Tabasco seasoning to this. We're just going to use a little bit of Dawn's. Stir this up really good. Next, I'm going to add 1 can of low sodium diced tomatoes with all the juices in it as well. Now, ours is going to be a seafood gumbo. I'm going to stir this up really good. You see, it starts to get thick with all these juices. Oh man, this is smelling good. Sorry guys, I don't have smell-o-vision or taste-o-vision, but ooh-wee, this smells good. And here's where we start adding our sausage. Like so. Mix that up really good. And I did not prep chop my garlic, so I'm also going to be adding 2 cloves of garlic in this. I've got 1 small bag of raw peeled deveined tail off shrimp. I'm going to be adding to this. And because it's going to have its own juices anyways, it'll have that seafood stock. I'm also adding a half a package of crawfish tails to ours. And we have approximately 2 cups of chicken broth. I'm only going to add a little at a time because of my fish stock that I'm going to have. And this basically is going to be our gumbo. Once this cooks through, we'll come to the next step. In the meantime, I'm just going to let this simmer and we'll be back. Okay, I've got my garlic in here, and there is another thing I forgot to mention is with this I'm halving the recipe, so I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of ground gumbo file. And it's made from Zatarain's. So I'm going to add my teaspoon in here. There we go. Okay, another thing. A lot of people, which I do not condemn or nothing like that, if you want to use canned chicken broth, that's awesome. For me though, I like a better flavor, and I really try to, even though I used the chopped tomatoes tonight, I try my best to stay away from as much canned products as possible. So what I've done with my chicken broth, I heated it up. I added about 2 cups of water to my pan, and then this is what I use for my chicken broth. I actually like the flavor from it. I like the creaminess that it gives. To me, I prefer the Amish, but I can't always get there, so this is my next best one. So what we're going to do now, we've added all our ingredients. We're going to let this simmer, and if it gets to the point where it gets super thick, again like here, I'm going to add some more chicken broth to it. I don't want to make it super soupy, but I don't want it really, really thick either. So here we go. We're going to let this cook. Saute then simmer is exactly what this means. Saute is, if you're going to do a meal like this, you're going to fry up your meats and all that, then you're going to add your ingredients, because at this point this pot is going to sit and simmer without changing any of your settings. So as soon as this simmers through, we shall be right back and we will continue on. Okay, we now have a nice hot piping pot of gumbo. Now I did change my setting because I wanted this to go quicker. I put it on steam mode so it would quick cook for me. Those of you who want to slow cook this, you can slow cook it. This can also be made in a crock pot. Another thing is, for those who don't like seafood, you don't have to add seafood to this. You can just add chicken and sausage and the same ingredients that I used. I used a half a green pepper, half an onion chopped up, 1 stick of celery chopped up, and if you're using chicken, you'll need 2 cups of chicken broth.
Some people use okra and stuff like that. We just didn't.
Right. So now we're going to add our rice. Now we just add our rice to this and mix that in here really good. And again, I use jasmine rice, but you can use regular white rice if you want. For those who want to be able to eat this and they're diabetic, instead of rice, you can add quinoa or brown rice to this pot and still have gumbo. Now we just add this up really good. And that's it, folks. Honey, supper's done. God bless, Be safe from Rapture Cafe. Until next time.